to Technopark Toastmasters meeting number 74. I'm Toastmaster Prabin, and I will be the sergeant at arms of the day. Toastmasters International is a non-profitable organization started by Rob C. Smithy to promote public speaking. Let me quote the mission of the Toastmaster Club. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. There are some ground rules which need to be followed during the meeting. Please refrain from making any reference to religion, political, and sex in your speech, which may hurt others' sentiments. Please turn off all the noise-making devices like mobile phone, or put them in silent mode. Avoid cross-talking when someone is speaking. Considering his virtual setup, please ensure that you mute yourself if you are not speaking. I request all the guests to put their name in the meeting chat to introduce yourself, your name, your organization, and how you came to know about this meeting. If you are interested in joining the club, please may stay back after the meeting and reach out to us. Once again, I welcome all of you the Technopark Toastmaster meeting number 74. Thank you. Over to you, President.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabin. Good morning, everyone, for Technopark Toastmasters meeting number 24. As the president of Technopark Toastmasters Club, let me officially open this meeting. So, this is the 74th meeting, and we have a really nice theme, and which is going to be conducted by Toastmaster Dave. Before that, so I was the other day watching a movie called Super Deluxe, a Tamil movie, Bhagat Fasil's first movie. More than that movie, I liked a story which is narrated in the trailer of that movie. The story goes something like this. The story that you can hear only in the trailer, not in the movie. One man walks into a village, and suddenly a tiger started chasing him. He runs for his life. And he sees a small hill. He started climbing on that. And when he reached the top of that hill, he realized that there is a deep valley on the other side. He cannot move beyond that point. The tiger is approaching him very fast. And suddenly he saw a branch and he gets hold of that branch. And he felt really happy. He started laughing by realizing his luck. After a few minutes, the branch started rolling around him and crushing him. That's when he realized it's not a branch, it's a snake. There is a snake crushing him. There is a tiger slightly below him, and there is a deep valley on the other side. There are a lot of problems. He looks up in despair, and there was a honeycomb on that tree. From that honeycomb, a single drop of honey lands on his lips. Now, what should he do? There is a tiger down there. There is a deep valley on the other side. There is a snake crushing him. There is a single drop of honey just right on his lips. The story represents a lot of things. If you look at that, there are a lot of problems in life, but there are pockets of happiness out there. All you have to do is pull out your tongue and lick that honey. That's what you need to do. With that story, let us get into the meeting. Today we have a really interesting topic. The title itself is really intriguing. Love Toastmaster. Toastmaster Dave is a seasoned Toastmaster with a long, experience in Toastmasters. Right now, he is really busy as a new father And of course, the sleepless nights. He hasn't been attending meetings for quite some time, but we are able to get him in this meeting. Let me welcome Toastmaster Dev for this meeting. Toastmaster Dev, over to you.
Thank you, Prakash, for that witty story as well as reminding me of my status in Toastmasters. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. It is an interesting theme, and why I chose this theme, it was 2 days back. The starting point, I would say, why I want to have this theme is I saw a status of one of my previous club member, and her name was Gauri, and she has put her marriage picture. And that's what I thought that I have to put this as, and that's the same time Prakash was asking me what you be the Toastmaster of the day and choose a theme. That's why I thought I'll put Love Toastmaster. And my story right now is it has become long distance relationship. I think for many of you who are member of this club, we have become so lazy or not joining frequently, once in a while, once in 3 months, once in 4 months. It has become so long distance relationship. And we want to bring that more cohesive and bring that love towards Toastmaster back. Before I jump into the story, let me tell about the format of the meeting. We have one guest here, so I think she's also the speaker. But quickly run over the format. As you know, there are 3 sections: prepared speeches, where a member, seasoned member, give you a speech, and there is a table topic session where anybody can speak, and it is an impromptu session where they give the topic and you have to speak for 2 minutes. And there is the third most important session, which is called as the evaluation session. This is very critical for being in a Toastmaster. And coming to my story, 4 years back, I was president of my club in TCS Kochi. And that time, there were very less attendance. And my immediate thought process was, there were a lot of people in bench. And this HR RMG, I think some of you are HR here. But this HR RMG people, I reached out to them. You have a lot of people, I could see so many new freshers, maybe 50, 100. They just come and they leave because they're not yet got into a project. And I just reached out to one HR RMG. I just said that, why don't you encourage them to come to our club? At least send that there is a club exists and please pull them to our club so that their time can be used here and our club also can grow. And the reply was like, there are 10 different clubs in our company: art club, dance club, and music club, every different club. So if you come and ask today, and tomorrow the dance club member asks, give me some people, and the end point of employee being in the company will get diminished. But finally, she agreed to send at least 10 people every meeting to her club. And this when the love story started. Two person who are just new to the company got into my club as a guest, and unfortunately or luckily they did the icebreaker speech on the same day, and I was one of the evaluator as well. And 4 years down the line, they are married to each other. So they got their love in Toastmasters as well as they loved the Toastmaster. Maybe most of you here are married or with children, might not connect with you, but some people who are new to the company may connect with this story. With that, I have a couple of other stories. I'll bring that in between the speeches to evaluate my team about the meeting and how this next 2 hours is going to be. We have a critic, like you see a YouTube video. Whenever you see a YouTube video, there are movie critics, right? Like whenever a movie is released, they break down each role players. They tell each positive and negative of the film, and we believe them that this film is good or not. Same way, we have someone who's going to be evaluator for the entire meeting. That role is called as general evaluator. So let me call upon the general evaluator for the today, Toastmaster Kavita, to explain the role and about the other roles. Toastmaster Kavita, the screen is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by explaining the role. Toastmaster Dev has already explained, but my task, my duty today is to evaluate whatever is happening during the course of the meeting. So from the start, did it start on time? Did we follow the protocols? Did the meeting progress as per the agenda? The goods, the bads, everything I will be presenting at the end of the meeting. Now, that is my opinion. So you can differ with whatever I am saying. But at the end of the meeting, I'll be coming back with my report and presenting it. So thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster Dev.
You may call upon the role plays, the counter.
Yes. It's been some time since I attended the meeting, so sorry about that. So evaluation is a big thing. There are a lot of things happening, like people are talking, there are evaluations happening, there is table topics. So we'll be looking at a lot of aspects as far as communication is concerned. And I have a team with me who will be helping in this role. The team is called the TAG team, TAG team. That stands for Timer, Counter, and the Grammarian. Let me introduce the team. First, we have the timer. Timer for the day is Toastmaster Eustine is the timer for the day. So she joined recently, and she started with a bang. And the last meeting, she was a role player, and the second meeting, I believe she's again taking up the role. So good way to start. And over to you, Toastmaster Eustine. Timer, Toastmaster Eustine.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. Good morning, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests. As timer, I will time all the speakers today, which includes prepared speeches, table topic speakers, and the evaluation. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow, and red cards, which denote specific times remaining depending on their speech. This will help us to finish our meetings on time. For table topics, the speaker should limit their times to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, I'll show the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will show the yellow card. At 2 minutes, I'll show the red card. And you will get a grace period of 30 seconds to wind up, for which red card remains displayed until you finish and hand over the control back. Now, for a prepared speech, it will be 5 to 7 minutes length. And at 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. 6 minutes, I'll show you the yellow card. And at 7 minutes, I'll show the red card. This is applicable to the icebreaker speeches also. Now, for the individual evaluation, it should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I'll show the green card. 2 minutes and 30 minutes, 30 seconds, I'll show the yellow card. 3 minutes, I'll show the red card. That's it. As you all know, this is my first time, so I hope I can do it good. Thank you so much for all your support. Back to the general evaluator.
Thank you, Eustine, Toastmaster Eustine. Next tag team member is the counter, and the counter for today's meeting is Toastmaster Anoop. Toastmaster Anoop works at Oracle, and he is a relatively new member, joined sometime in December, I believe. So over to you, Toastmaster Anoop. Counter for the day, Toastmaster Anoop.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests. My role for today is to look at the different aspects of the speeches where we actually pause ourselves, especially looking at the different sounds that we use to fill the words, like the ahs, and or repetitive words, any kind of pauses that we actually make. And the intention is to actually provide an evaluation of the different speeches that are done on these aspects. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anoop. Next, let me introduce our grammarian. Grammarian for the day is Toastmaster Vishnu. Toastmaster Vishnu.
You're not audible.
Sorry about that. As grammarian, my duty for the day is to listen attentively to all of the prepared speeches and note down good and bad usages of words. Note down good and bad uses of grammar, pronunciation, and also word of the day usage. I'm also responsible for sharing a word of the day for today's session. So the word of the day that I've picked up is winsome. So the meaning is winsome means attractive or appealing in a fresh, innocent way. I thought it went with the theme of uh, the meeting today, which is Love Toastmasters. And I've given a couple of sample usages here. The actress gave a winsome smile. The businessman gave a winsome presentation, which convinced investors about the idea. Um, and I also wanted to share a quote of the day, which is, "I never dreamt about success. I work for it." So looking forward to all of the prepared speeches and looking forward to a great session today. So I'll hand it over back to Kavita. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. So that's my Winsome team of Eustine, Vishnu, and Anoop. Okay, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Dev.
That was so fast to use the word of the day. It was really very fast, so that you can add that count. Congratulations. So we'll move on to the session. Before that, I have one question to ask to a seasoned Toastmaster like maybe Arathi. One word answer. What you hate in Toastmaster?
Lots of things I love about it. Hate might be when I talk to people about the money involved, their response.
Okay. A response to paying the membership fees. Guys, please note that. Arathi hates that. So why I ask this question is it's very easy to tell what you love in Toastmaster. But if you ask anybody what you hate in Toastmaster, they always think. So which will help us to make our club better, so that we'll take to the team that make it free, so that Arathi don't hate Toastmaster anymore. Okay, moving on. Let's move to the prepared speech session. So first speaker is going to be Toastmaster just now whom I call. So Toastmaster Arathi is going to attempt our project 2 from level 3 from the path dynamic leadership. And it is about understanding your communication style. To evaluate about this speech, we have someone who spoke at the very start. So Toastmaster Prakash, could you please explain the speech objective of Arathi?
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. So, Arathi's speech is about communication style, understanding your communication style. The purpose of this project is for the member to learn about different communication styles and identify her primary style. Purpose of this speech is for the member to share the impact of her style on others. So mostly I'll be evaluating whether the speech is well organized on the aspect of communication styles. The speech can be humorous or about a serious topic. That's okay. It should not be a report of the project. So that's the evaluation criteria. So regarding Arathi, evaluating Arathi's speech is a really tough task, but it's a challenging, one as well. So when she asked me to do the evaluation, I said, okay, let me give it a try. So I wish Arathi all the best. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash. Looking forward for a winsome speech. All the very best, Toastmaster Arathi. The screen is all yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Dev, and my dear fellow Toastmasters. I'm going to tell you a story about my friend. She recently learned driving, and she was very exuberant about her achievement because I have been motivating her to take up driving. And then she put back the request to me, Arathi, because of your words, I've taken up driving. So let us now go out for a treat. I will drive you to the mall. being the supportive friend that I was, giving the motivator that I was, it was a trap for me because she was going to venture out without a driving instructor, though she did have the license, with me as a companion. But I've been always supportive. I've been motivating her. I've been encouraging her to take up driving and making her feel that she is not less than any of the people that we see on the road. So we decided to take the car, to push the car, I would say, onto the traffic from my flat to Lulu Mall. It's not so far away. So I had all the confidence. On the way, I kept talking to her, motivating her, and keeping her in very good spirits, and giving her little nudges of advices when the traffic goes here and there. And then comes the traffic light where we have to take a right turn. She stops, she's ready for the turn. She takes it forward when the light comes green, and then she misjudges it by a little and has to brake suddenly to avoid a motorbike that's giving a wrong turn. She stops on time. We all fall forward, but she stops. Problem? The person behind her did not stop. We look at the rear view mirror and cannot see the car. It's a huge SUV behind us. And we got a terrible push. So like in movies, what happens when you have a car accident? You need to go out and inspect what went wrong. So we two trembling ladies stepped out, went out and looked at the damage. The SUV being the SUV, there was nothing on it. Our poor little Alto had a big dent. So my friend is literally shaking. So I don the brave face and I go over to the other driver. I apologize. I get introduced. I say, I'm from Technopark. She's from Technopark. And what do you do? And we set the base platform to talk. And then we look at his car. We spend a lot of time as in relatively most of the time looking at his damage and realize there's nothing much. We explained to him what happened, that the biker in front did not turn as expected and she had to stop, and therefore it could happen. How can people have no civic sense and all that? And then I told him that we should probably exchange numbers, and if he wants any support in the maintenance, please do give us a call. But even though I was very sure that he had not a scratch to look at. All the while looking at the dent in my friend's car, I am a little worried. And I wouldn't dare ask him for damage because it was our fault. But very smoothly, I handled the situation. We did not get any people crowding over there. We got back into the car. Now, the next problem I had to handle was my shaking friend. She was so upset with us that I had to support her. I had to tell her that this is nothing. You know how many times I have hit a car? Okay, if she had asked me how many, I would have said none. But then I did not tell her that. You know how many times I've hit a car? Eustine, I have 5, 6, and 7 minutes. Huh?
Oh, okay.
Okay, so green comes at 5. So how many times I have hit the car? So don't worry, it happens. It is anyway the biker's fault. So I motivate her and she gains some of her confidence, and then we move into the mall. We have a fun day, a whole winsome day out there because free ride, free lunch, movie, best time with a friend. What more to ask for? And finally, when we have safely arrived back at a flat, I tell her, my dear girl, who on earth will turn without looking at the person in front of you? You have to wait for him before you turn. That's the basic rule of driving. You have to look at your rear mirror, you do this, you do that. I gave her a big sermon. But once we have safely reached home, because I didn't want to upset her again and cause another disaster. So this might be a typical scenario that we would have come across. On that day, I don't 4 rules. And that is what I'm going to talk to you about. In the same drive, I put on different caps of different communicator. I was there for my friend, but I put on 4 different styles. And that is what I'm trying to talk about today. We all have different styles of communication, and based on the situation, the audience, and the intent that we want to achieve, we change our communication style. Now, there might be people who have a very strong communication style that dominates all the others. So in this example, what all communication styles did I exhibit? First one, I was the initiating communicator because I motivated my friend to do something that she was not so confident about. It is my energy, my enthusiasm, and positive talk that gave her positive vibes, and she could move ahead and achieve what she wanted. The next, after we met an accident, I put on the analytical speaker, where I went and spoke to the other driver, told him about the damages, fact-based, and then offered a solution. So that's my analytical communicator coming in place. Had I been argumentative, we would have never gone out of that trap. Next, I was speaking to my shaking friend. I was a supportive communicator. I had to calm her, steady her, and give her a support so that she is back on her cool nerves. And fourth one, the friend who admonishes her, saying that she should better be taking care of her driving skills in a very safe environment. I was a direct communicator. I told her that these are the things that you need to do without cutting any edges, any corners. I told her that this is what she... So there were 4 styles that I did: initiating, analytical, supportive, and direct. I use that based on the situation. Some people can only be direct. Some people cannot be direct because that's one side of their personality. They do not want to hurt other people. But you can choose, depending on the situation, to be analytical, supportive, initiative, or direct. It also reflects on your personality, and it also helps build the relations with you. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi, for explaining various types of communication style with good examples. We were able to relate to each of the example and understand the types better. So before moving on to the next speech, just a quick little story. How many of you believe that a food can be a motivating factor for someone to join Toastmaster? Raise your hands. Kavita, I could see Kavita. Yes. Vineetha. Because when I was in Kochi, there is a community club, and they get extra fees for that. After every meeting, they give a big snacks and tea. I asked them, why is it actually required? Their answer really shocked me. They said, Dave, your club is related to IT employees, and our club is something where we have people more than 55, more than 60 years age, retired people. So they come, they relax, they have a quick tea, they have fun. So they come here sometimes to eat snacks too. That's why I understand that love for food can also bring people to Toastmaster. This just a thought for Arathi and Prakash to take it. So some in our club also likes to have food, it seems. Okay, moving on to the next speaker. So the next speech is Toastmaster Vineetha is attempting a level 1 that is called as an icebreaker speech. And this speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Arathi. So let me call on Toastmaster Arathi to explain the objective of this project.
All right. Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. I'm happy to be evaluating Vineetha. Vineetha is starting her journey in Toastmasters formally with her icebreaker speech. Icebreaker speech, as you know, is the first speech that a member gives with the intent of introducing themselves to the club. Now, an icebreaker helps the member to prepare a speech and understand the nuances of writing a speech and delivering it in front of an audience. Seasoned Toastmasters and speakers may use various techniques like body language, similes, and other rhetorics in their speeches. But as a beginner, we do not expect the speaker to employ any of these, but it is welcome if they want to do it. So Vineetha will be attending her icebreaker speech, and with this speech, she is planning to introduce herself to the club and also to demonstrate that she has learned the basic structure of a speech. The speech will be for 4 to 6 minutes. Back to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. We call the icebreaker as a baby step, the first step in the learning journey. So all the very best, Toastmaster Vineetha. The title is Road Not Taken. Road Not Taken, Toastmaster Vineetha. Vineetha, sorry, you are on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I chose the one less traveled by. And though it has made all the difference, I still wonder and sigh. The first 3 lines were taken from the famous poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, and the last line was said by me. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. A very warm good morning to one and all. Today, I am going to tell you all a little bit about myself and about how I used to ponder about Robert Frost's last 2 lines every now and then in my life. Growing up in the Middle East in a family of 4 with my parents and younger brother, English was my favorite subject, and being an English teacher was what I wanted to be when I grew up. During my school days, I would eagerly devour every single story in my English textbook before the start of the annual year. And every day I would wait for my English teacher to walk into class. As I was one of the toppers and a nerd, my teachers loved me and they had high hopes for me along with my parents. So after 12th, when I told them that I wanted to study English, they were surprised. My teachers looked at me. You want to study English? Why? And my parents, they were also worried. They told me, dear, you have so many options. You can be a doctor or an engineer. You choose. And I said, Dad, I want to study English. And he wouldn't hear of it. And as always, being Daddy's little girl, I agreed to study civil engineering. I flew back to India to pursue my education, and 6 years flew in the blink of an eye. By then, I had completed my master's in structural engineering. Looking back, those were some of the most wonderful years in my life. Though I had to learn to be independent and alone at a faraway land away from my home, I learned a lot. I made a lot of friends. I participated in dance and music and so many programs, and I witnessed a lot of celebrations and fun. Those 6 years, they changed my perspectives and they shaped me to be ready for the next step in my life. I returned back to Dubai and I started searching for a job as a civil engineer. Having no luck after trying for 6 months, I started growing anxious. So I decided to go back to India and to try my luck at teaching. Since I had gone in the direction of engineering, I knew that I couldn't be an English teacher anymore. But teaching was something that I knew that I was very good at. And soon enough, I landed a job as an assistant professor in an engineering college. Another 5 years flew by, and these years brought me a whole new set of experiences and perspectives. I loved my students, and I enjoyed nurturing them. But somewhere down the lane, as I saw my students getting placed in the IT companies, hearing about the office parties and team outings, something sparked my curiosity. I wanted to know how it would be to work in that environment, to work with my peers, to discover the world of technology. So I resigned my job, and after searching for like 1 year, I landed here in Technopark as a business analyst in my current role. And this role has brought me a whole other set of challenges and perspective and happiness. And now I know that every choice I take and every journey that I went on was necessary for me to be the person that I am here today. But there are many moments in my life when I sit and wonder, like Robert Frost, did I choose the right path? What if I had been an English teacher? What if I had been a civil engineer? How would my life have turned out? On many lazy days, or when I'm feeling blue, I put on my thinking cap and I ponder over and over again the same questions in my head. All this time have passed and I have not found the answer. And I know that I never will. And today, when I'm standing here in front of all of you, I know that every single one of you would have at least thought, at least once in their lives, about that second road, about the world it would have opened, be it in your personal life or in your careers. All of you would have wondered. And I know that just like me, you don't have the answer for that. So today, let me tell you a small secret that I tell myself every day so that I can sleep peacefully at night. All these different roads, all these possibilities, that is what makes life so exciting. And no matter what choice you make, whichever road you take, I would like to believe that all the things that are meant for us will come and find us. And in the end, no matter what, we will always end up right where we belong. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I chose the one less traveled by. And though it has made all the difference, I still wonder and sigh. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Dev.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vineetha. I always wonder how an English teacher can come and present in a Toastmaster speech, and what my thought exactly proved that it was fantastic icebreaker speech.
Thank you.
So moving on, before I move to the next speech, I have a question to Toastmaster Anoop, as I think he is a new member. So Anoop, you have seen a lot of speeches recently in Toastmaster. So till now, do you love any one speech that you still remember, that is still strikes your mind? Any one speech or a member?
Yeah, I think a couple of them for sure. The first in my first meeting, it was Arathi's speech, which I actually loved. The explanation of how she is dealing with the tantrums of a growing child. That was the first one. The second one I remember closely is TM Anu's speech of introducing herself. So these are the two speeches what I remember myself.
Thank you, Anoop. Why I want to ask this question is, for a speaker, it is very much happy when the evaluator gives a good feedback, but more happier when long back after a few months, someone says that they got inspired or they still remember your speech. So thank you, Anoop, and thank you to Arathi as well for the fantastic speech the other day. Moving on to the next project. The next speaker is our guest speaker from HNR Club, Aabhinaya. And unfortunately, the evaluator for today is not available. So I am going to play the role of evaluator. Aabhinaya, please don't scold me if I give a bad evaluation. So the objective of she's attempting a team collaboration path and level 3. It's a narrative project, and it's about presentation software. So the purpose of this project is for the member to introduce or review basic presentation software for creating and using slides to enhance their speech. The speech time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. All the very best, Toastmaster Aabhinaya. The screen is all yours.
Team, I need to share my screen. Let me know, is it visible?
No. Yeah.
Yes, it's visible.
Team, 1 minute. So is the slideshow visible?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, team. I'll start my speech. Yes.
Timer, you can start now.
It is a remarkable testament to humanity's narcissism that we know the number of books in the US Library of Congress on February 1st, 2011 is 2,21,94,656. but cannot tell you to within an order of magnitude how many distinct species of plants and animals we share our world with, says Robert McCurdy Maybaron, the former president of the Royal Society. Respected TMOD, Toastmasters, and my dear guest, a warm morning to all. Count me in is the speech title I have given to my speech. One of the skills or abilities we get to learn as a kid is counting. Kids love counting, and we love counting when it comes to a bundle of paper imprinted with the face of Mahatma Gandhi. Don't you agree? We love counting. Subconsciously, we count everything at everywhere. Yes, it's odd. Let me tell you something. I begin my day by counting the number of days away from weekends. The next thing we would do before entering a late meeting is how many number of participants are there. That's how subconsciously we are living with counting. Homo sapiens can't live without counting. What? Homo sapien? What is the term Homo sapien? You may wonder. As a biology aspirant, I know what is Homo sapien. Homo sapien is a term used to refer human beings. Let's say it's the biological term used to refer human beings. Now, when you look at the screen, you could see the logs. Are you still counting the logs there? Or are you still trying to figure out how many logs are there? It's subconsciously somewhere we may think about it. Now, let's come to the next thing. So if I am giving you a bunch of toys to you or something, a bunch of toys to arrange, the first thing we would do is we gather the toys and we get the toys based on the similarities and we start arranging. Likewise, the biologists were given with a very big problem. What is that is, the world is filled with number of species, which we couldn't comprehend actually. So the biologists started seeing the similarities between different species and they started arranging. So who laid the foundation for this arranging the species based on the similarities? You may wonder. It is none other than Carolus Linnaeus. He is called as the father of taxonomy. So the study or the biological study which helps us to arrange the species of living organisms is called taxonomy, and he is the father of that. And another quick fact about him is he is the one who gave us the name Homo sapien. Also, the another wittiest part he did is, though humans have 6 senses and we claim that we are at the top of our animal kingdom, he put us or dragged us down to the animal kingdom and said we were one among the species. So this is how the biologists started understanding the species around us. Yes, so the Linnaean Society. So this Linnaean Society is the oldest biological society which is currently present. It was started as 1788 and it's been 235 years that it has been founded. The society is still active. The wonderful part which I still remember as a biology student is how they used to name a species. As I said, human beings are referred with the term Homo sapien, where Homo is a genus name and where sapien is the species name specific to the species. So the combined Homo sapien refers a particular species. Yes. When we go on and when biologists started to understand, or when started to put animals under a different order, they gave a hierarchical order. They started to understand there were around 8.7 million amount of species. So the current species count which has been put forth as is 8.7 million species. As this is 8.7 million species is an approximate count and it is not an exact count. So based on this magnitude, biologists have started their research and has found that we have found only, or we have understood only 1.7 million. So this particular slide could show you this whole pie chart is the available species or the living organisms we share our world with. It is not about the count, it is about the individual or the specific species. Like humans, there are 8.7 million species in the world, but our biologists were able to only figure out 1.7. Now, we hear the term that animals are losing their habitat and animals are getting extinct. Now, the question to us, what happens or what goes wrong when animals get vanished? We never wonder or we never ask this because we as a species are reached a milestone recently, right? We had the 8 billion child being born this year. So with this, what I would like to say is we never cared, or there are organizations who are still caring about the animals getting extinct or endangered. The first thing as when an animal species go extinct is we get to know the first problem would be is the habitat loss. You may know the losing a species of honeybee would make the complete forest go vanish. Let me tell you why is that. Honeybee play an important role in pollination. So when they just sit in one flower and when they just go to another flower, the pollens on the honeybee just gets transferred to different flowers. That's how it just gets pollinated and forest gets flourished. So now let's go through these images I have given here. So don't you see them cute or beautiful? Aren't they cute? The thing is, they are not anymore, or they are not gonna be here anymore. So their cry would be, count me in. As a human beings, it's our responsibility to care our nature. Thank you. Count me in.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aabhinaya. Definitely, we are going to count you in, sorry, so that we don't lose our own species soon. Moving on to the next part of our agenda in our meeting today, it is called as impromptu speaking. I think as a people in IT field or technical field, this particular session is going to be very, very important for us, and we are going to learn much from here. Let me tell you why quickly in a 2-minute story. A few months back, we were in a customer demo, and the customer has hardly given us a time slot for half an hour to show the demo. And the developer and the business analyst was there in the meeting, and business analyst was a seasoned Toastmaster. And what happened? Right before the demo, few minutes before the demo, the developer told that it's not going to work. Out of 5 scenarios, 3 are not going to work. I think this scenario most of us would have faced. What if the customer asks the first scenario which is going to fail, right? And the entire demo, the moral is lost. There are high chances that it may get escalated. So the business analyst, I was also part of the meeting, cleverly took the customer in a totally different direction. For the initial 20 minutes, all he put forward is there is something which we can do. There was a requirement agreed, and that's what they developed. So the business analyst started speaking or taking the customer into a different direction, which intrigued him, which made him ask more questions. So by that time, 20 minutes are already passed. So by the time he has got some confidence that these guys knows much about our business. So the remaining 10 minutes, we could able to show the 2 successful scenarios which were working fine. And what happened, the customer want to see the next scenarios along with this enhancement, which we have got 1 more month of time. So the BA at the end of the meeting was saying, in my 20 minutes, I was able to get you 1 more month to develop your code to fix your issues. This is how the power of thinking on the feet gives you. And the next meeting is all about that. To conduct the meeting, let me call upon Toastmaster Prabin. Prabin, the screen is all yours.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today's theme of the day love Toastmasters. I attempt to pick topics related to love Toastmasters. I tried a lot, but I couldn't think of any topics. So I decided to pick the word love. Anyway, Valentine's Day also coming soon. So I created a topic connected with love. So I hope all of you love this section. Love is one type of emotion or feeling. I think love is not finding perfect person, but loving the imperfect person perfectly. Table topic section enables members to develop the skills of impromptu speaking. A speaker will be invited and given a topic. You can speak for the topic or against the topic or simply express your view or experience about the topic. The objective is to speak for 1 to 2 minutes on the topic. Please watch the timer show. At 1 minute, timer will show that green card. At 1 minute 30-second, timer will show that yellow card. At 2 minutes, timer will show that red card. I will request volunteers to come forward to take up topics. I also encourage each speakers to use the word of the day in your speech. I'll share my screen. Any volunteers can pick any number.
Can the tag team also participate, or?
Yeah, anyone can participate.
Okay, cool. Then I would like to volunteer for this. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vishnu. You can select any number.
I'll pick up 3.
Yeah, this is your topic. What's your favorite way to celebrate Valentine's Day?
Thank you, Toastmaster Prabin, for that topic. Obviously, Valentine's Day is a special day, and for me, I like to keep things simple. So I would just celebrate it with my lovely wife, and maybe go to a restaurant or go to the beach and just talk. I think that actually speaks about my nature a little bit, because by nature I am a little bit introverted, and I also consider myself very grounded. So I don't go for any kind of elaborate celebrations, but I like to keep things personal and low key. But still, I really like the idea of celebrating. I really like the idea of thinking about how to make that day special, because interestingly, Valentine's Day has a pretty significant reason, or it's been a milestone in our relationship with my wife. So so after a long duration, so we had actually met, we had known each other quite well over a period of time, and then we had not talked to each other, right? And then finally we talked on a Valentine's Day, and from that point onwards, our relationship basically went forward. So from that perspective, the day is special. But like I said, I would just keep it personal, keep it low key, and just go to a restaurant or a beach, or just have some personal time with my wife. That's how I would spend the Valentine's Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. You said how you are celebrating the Valentine's Day. That's really interesting, and thank you for that. I'll share. Yeah, any other volunteers?
Prabin, I like to go. Kavita.
Thanks, Kavita. Can you select any number?
8.
What's your idea of the perfect partner?
Thank you, Toastmaster Prabin. What is your idea of a perfect partner? Okay, for the intro, my partner has just he went for his hometown, so I can be very honest today. My idea of a perfect partner is somebody who is radically opposite to my thoughts and my ways of doing things. I'm a morning person, and my husband is a, let's say, a evening person. So our time zones never match. So there are a lot of good things happening due to that. We don't get time to argue. It's a very happy scenario. It's more like a award-winning Malayalam movie. There's not much dialogue, not much action, a lot of peace and calm. And if your partner is totally dynamically opposite to everything that you do, you are pushed to your edge. So I want to go maybe 5 minutes, reach the destination 5 minutes early. And he is a person who starts 5 minutes late. So you learn to adapt to a lot of situations and do a lot of things differently. And again, there is a kind of inner strength that you get when your partner is totally dynamically opposite to everything that you believe in. So that is my opinion of an ideal partner, somebody who is totally different from you, has a totally different outlook on life, and you both of you push each other to in the opposite direction, and finally you come into an equilibrium and learn to survive all that. So over to you, Toastmaster Prabin.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. You connected the topic with your life, and it was really great. Thank you for that. Any other volunteers can pick any number except 3 and 8.
I would like to go Prabin Aabhinaya here.
Yeah, Aabhinaya, thanks. Can you-
7.
7. Yeah. What is the most
Can we skip
memorable?
this piece?
You want to change the topic?
Yeah, please. Team, is it fine to change the topic? Okay. I believe I will get a good one the next time.
Yeah, Isabel.
Yeah, I choose 10, Prabin.
What is the most romantic gift you have ever received?
Okay. I think I shouldn't have volunteered. Yes. Give me a second, team. So, hello, team. The thing is, I haven't been in a romantic relationship, to be frank. That's why I couldn't get to pick any romantic moment or romantic gift so far. So I could say that I was single, and I'm still not ready to be mingle yet. So that's why those two topics are really different. But I would say a romantic gift ever a girl could receive would be making her feel special and good. So that's what I feel. And getting such a moment where she feels special and feeling important throughout her life would be the best ever gift a partner could give. So I feel that would be one. And I hope when we connect next time, I'll just get a romantic moment, I believe. But still, I am not in the mindset to just get mingled, team. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aabhinaya, and thanks. Any other volunteers?
Prabin, I would like to go number one.
One. Yeah, this is your topic. You know who's
Yeah, this Dev.
Dave? Yeah, is love blind?
So first of all, when I set the theme of the meeting, I want the member to get inspired to join our club and be and get more into Toastmaster. But I could see somewhere in between of the middle of the session, we went to a romantic movie. So started with the inspirational movie, and somewhere it diverted to a romantic movie. So before I came to this topic, it was in mind I was going through all the romantic Tamil movies which we see, right? Vineetha and Varnamayaram, so that I could pick something out of there and speak in this topic. But still, if you ask me, is the love is blind? The answer is yes, because not there are people who love for their physical appearance. There are people who love for their social status or their money, but there are people who ignore all this factor and love for the person whom they are. And if you ask anybody, one of my friends who had a love marriage, and he was in love with that person for more than 13 years. The days when they were in school, like we hardly know what is love. He proposed to the girl when he was in 7th standard and finally ended up marrying that girl. So this question, if I ask him, the answer he gave to me is what answer I am going to give you. Yes, the love is blind. Just because those two persons are a lot different. Their ways apart. All their likes, dislikes, everything are different. The way they lead their life is different. And if you see anybody, if they see them, they'll see that they are not looking matchable. That's what the major opinion will be. But still, they were in love for 13 years and still they are together. The reason is they accepted the factor of whom they are. That's where it becomes that love is blind. If, as a person, you can accept your partner on their strength, on their weakness, and they in turn accept you as whom you are, that's where it becomes love is blind. I think somewhere I set the mood to romantic to somewhere in different direction. That's not my intention. So the intention is same love you have for Toastmasters. Sometimes when you join a club and you attend a meeting, you feel bored. Accept that some meetings will be bored and do join our club. Thank you. Back to you, Prabin.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Dev. As you said that theme like love Toastmaster, but unfortunately I couldn't get any kind of topic related to love Toastmaster. So I picked the word love and I make the topics related to love actually. So thank you. You said that scenario is very well actually. Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Dev. We have time, then we can continue. Time is almost 12:10, I think.
I think Anoop should speak, and then maybe if I have time, I will also speak.
Okay. We'll choose 9.
9. Thanks. You can only pick one. Good looks or good personality.
Okay. Okay. Interesting topic. So, somehow maybe it's because of the Valentine's Day, we are all choosing. We actually associate love with the love and affection that we see between two people, right? But I think I would say I would love everything that actually comes my way. I can love coffee. I can love my mobile. I can love all the gadgets around. I can love everything that I see in front of me. In that, but when it comes to people, I would love personality for that matter, because that is what actually is the most important thing that you kind of learn from anyone. You actually feel confident when you actually speak in front of someone, right? Somebody who actually applauses for you, somebody who actually supports you, somebody who actually takes you from one end of the road to the other one. That is the personality that I would like to look at. So personality is something that would actually be the most important thing if I were to actually look between love or good looks. It is always felt that good looks are deceiving, and I have actually seen that happening many times. But personality is something that really stays with you. It is the true self. You cannot, it is very difficult for you to actually change personality from one day to the next one or 1 year to the next one. It is kind of very difficult. You can actually have new skills that you can learn, but personality is something that stays with you. So in that regard, on any given day, I would like to choose a person with a good personality, be with them, learn new things, and continue with them for the rest of the life. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Anoop. Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Anoop. You choose the personality and you explained about that very well. Thank you for that. Any others?
Is there time? Vineetha?
Yes, let's, I think whoever wants to speak should. Eustine, you can also go next after Vineetha.
Okay, actually, we are running out of time from the schedule. Is that okay?
I think we can.
Okay.
It's interesting, and we will time for
Sure.
you, Eustine, when you speak.
All right, okay.
Okay, so I'll choose 2.
What is the best gift you have ever given to your spouse or partner?
Okay, can I choose a topic? Is love blind? Is it possible?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity, Toastmaster Prabin. And let me talk about the topic. Is love blind? And to tell you all, love is something I think that everybody likes it. The word love, it will fill your heart with happiness. And love can be between partners, and just because it's the romantic season with Valentine's Day coming up, I know that is what comes into our mind. But love is seen everywhere. And I think the first example of love is from our mother. I think a mother starts to love her baby even before she sees that baby. And so that love is so blind and so unconditional that no matter what, till her death, that baby is her first priority. And then you can see love all around you, from starting from your parents. Your father starts to love his child. And then there is love around you in your house, maybe with your siblings, with your cousins. You can see that when you play with each other, there is love. And even when you go to school, every time you spend with your friends, your classmates, you can see the little kids, how they like their teachers. They don't know anything, but from their hearts, they love their teachers. They make small gifts for the teachers. So it is all a blind love. They do not know about it, but they just love. And after they grow up in their teenage years, we start for having the feelings of crush and infatuation. And those are the things that make us want to get up every next day to see your crush, to spend some time with it, and to maybe think of ways to make them fall in love with you. And to ask, is it blind? I really believe that love is blind, because when you love someone, whether it is a romantic person or whether it is someone in your family, you would do anything for them and you will go to any lengths to make sure that they are okay. I've personally seen this in my life, that when you're in love, you sometimes even do crazy, stupid things, which you cannot explain to others. So love is blind. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vineetha. You truly explained that love is blind. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that's it. Over to you, Toastmaster Dev.
Okay. So anybody? Okay. Thanks for the session. So we are running short of time, so we'll quickly move on to the next session. Let me call upon the general evaluator for the day, Toastmaster Kavita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dev, and let's get into business. I'll call upon a timer to present the their report, the timer report. Over to you, Toastmaster Eustine. Oh, you're on mute, Eustine.
All right. Thank you so much, Kavita. So this is the first time I am being a timer, and I hope I did my part well. So coming to the sessions, everybody has done, the time was taken appropriately. And for this prepared speech, for Vineetha, she has taken 5 minutes and 28 seconds. Arathi has taken 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Aabhinaya has taken 7 minutes and 48 seconds for their prepared speeches. For the table topics, everybody was on time, and we have all covered everything under 2 minutes. That's it from my side. Good, everybody has kept their timings. Well done, team.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eustine. Next, it's the R counter, Toastmaster Anoop.
Thanks, Toastmaster Kavita. So from a responsibility point of view, I was looking at the R sounds, fillers, pauses, and repetitive words. So starting with the Prakash speech in the first, no major things, but I could actually note the sound and R sound at 2 different instances. Moving on to Kavita's speech, I have noted and being used, and being used repetitively, and R sound being actually used a couple of times. Moving on to the prepared speeches, Arathi's speech, nothing major, but just one place where the pronoun he was actually used in in conjunction. Vineetha, nothing to really report. It was a flawless speech. Aabhinaya, there was a blip to start in the first part. Sound being repeated almost 5 times. There are fillers used for the and after we, those kind of words. So those something that I have noted. In the impromptu speech, Vishnu, it was and so those words being actually used and the sound there. Kavita, for the impromptu speech, there was a use of so repeatedly, at least twice. Aabhinaya, use of and sound and sound repeatedly. They were used in nothing. So this is what I have actually noted. Back to you, Kavita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anoop. And finally, over to you, Grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Vishnu.
Thank you, Kavita. So let me start with, I'll start with Arathi's speech. I think the usages were generally pretty good. I really like the way she articulated the the trembling friend, shaking lady. So I think some of those things were quite impactful, and they conveyed the message also well. So one thing I felt as an area of improvement would be just see if we can focus on more concise phrases. For example, there was this four cap of different communications, right? So maybe a way to say it would be 4 different communication caps. Next, after we met. So there were some phrases where I think the phrases could have been a little bit more concise and a bit different. So next after we met her could be when we met her next, right? So things like that. But overall, I think it was a really impactful speech, and also the message was really good. Now, going to Vineetha's speech, I really like the phrases and the way the speech was delivered. So good usages that I noted was eagerly devour books, 6 years flew in the blink of an eye, I still wonder and sigh, and so it was like a poetic speech for me. So I really like the way it was delivered, and clearly there was a lot of preparation that went into it. I haven't really noted any inferior usages, and I felt that you have actually written down the entire speech and kind of refined it, so that was really good. Now going to Aabhinaya, I felt that the speech was really impactful. I like the way she brought in that count me in message. So in terms of opportunities for improvement, I felt that there were some phrases which could have been different, or which could have been better. So there was this phrase, everything, we count everything at everywhere. So maybe we could just say that we count each and everything. There was this thing where biology aspirant was used. Instead of that, maybe a biology student or biology lover, I felt would have been better. Uh, while describing the taxonomy uh, of the species, I think she used the phrase arranging the species. I felt classification of species would have been a little better. So I made some notes. I can send that across separately. Now coming to the table topics, I didn't really make a lot of notes. I think generally the usages were good in table topics. So I'll hand it over back to the general evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishnu. Now let's step into the evaluation, the most important part, which is the speech evaluation. Or Dev, should I hand it over to you?
No, you can call the evaluator.
Okay, yeah. So the evaluator for the first speech, the speaker was Arathi, and the evaluator was Prakash. So over to you, Toastmaster Prakash, for evaluation of Toastmaster Arathi's speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. Toastmaster Arathi, what a wonderful speech. You always bar so high with your speeches. This time, no difference. So the story was well structured, and the point that you wanted to convey was beautifully conveyed with a beautiful story, I would say. That personal story was able to make us connect to that speech in a well manner. We were able to follow through the story the way that you narrated, and when you kind of summarized every point, we already know, okay, we were able to connect. Oh, okay, so these are the points that you're highlighting. This is where you have, and that was really, evident from the very moment in the speech. Particularly, when you were setting the platform when the accident happened. So those are all the things that I found really, interesting when it comes to the communication. Then I actually did not find any feedback to give. Sometimes I lost into that story rather than evaluating the speech. But there are two things that I noted. I feel maybe giving a name to that friend would have made more sense in the sense that you are just saying it's a friend, but rather than that, you can just say that maybe some name, you can give some name, so that it was more impactful. And also you can describe about your friend with more adjectives, maybe at the time of accident, when the accident happened, how she was. I think you just covered that, and you moved into that speech. I think those are the two things. Then of course, the obvious point of, there were a lot of gestures were there, but we were not able to see that because we were not standing. I think those are all the points that I wanted to highlight. But overall, if you look at that, I remember, I delivered the speech, but I don't remember anything. But now I can confidently say that the initiator, giving the message, direct analytical speaker, those 4 stages, that I am pretty, aware of that now. Thank you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Prakash. Our second speaker was Toastmaster Vineetha, and let's hear from her evaluator, Toastmaster Arathi.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita and my dear speaker, Vineetha. Vineetha delivered her first speech, and wow, what a wonderful speech for an icebreaker. If we were in a physical meeting, we would have all given her a standing ovation, but at least let us all give her a virtual clap. Vineetha, well done. It did not look like your icebreaker speech at all. Vishnu mentioned this slightly, but you were well prepared for this because you had a good structure in place, the beginning, the ending, and the content. And your transitions were very smooth, like a story. And that's how it should be. Any speech should be. And you got the attention of the audience by quoting Robert Frost. And your title was so apt. Everything tied up to your core message that of who you are. You are a lover of English literature. That's what you wanted, or that's what you want in the bottom of your heart, irrespective of what you do. And everything that you do brings that aspect out. So as a speaker, you were able to convey that through your words, through your body language, and your message. I mentioned during the initial context setting that a icebreak speaker need not use their body language. But wow, Vineetha, you being a very confident speaker probably comes with your teaching experience. You stood up and spoke, which gives you a good advantage. You used your hand movements very well, and even your eyes. You were looking this side, you were popping your eyes open. That was excellent. So overall, a very confident speaker. You were comfortable delivering your speech, and you had great confidence in the content, and you gave a beautiful message to everyone just to think about whether we have done true justice to what we want, whether the road taken is the best, or just keep guessing whether it would have been any better. So that message is very good. Now, to give you suggestions for improvement, one is an icebreaker would want the club knowing a little bit more about you. Some personal side of it would have helped us understand you. You did mention you grew up in the Middle East, but we don't know about your family, your siblings, your close family now, but that would have been good to cover. Second one is maybe you should focus on your quality of your voice. I felt that the voice was a little low, probably suitable for an online medium, but you might want to work on the quality of your voice through voice exercise, because sometimes it felt like there was a treble there. I did not think it was treble because of your fright, stage fright, because you seemed a good speaker. Maybe it is, but it did not come out as. So quality of voice is something you can do. Overall, a great speaker, way to start your Toastmasters journey. Just keep these notes in mind and you'll do great. Thank you, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arathi. Our third speaker for the day was Toastmaster Aabhinaya, and it's over to you, Toastmaster Dev, for evaluation on that speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Today, Toastmaster Aabhinaya presented an informational speech, as well as it made us think. That's what the important thing is. There are a lot of good things that I could see in her speech. The first is the content part. So if you clearly see her speech, she was saying, why is counting required? And what is counting? We are giving a small examples of what is counting. And right in the first image of putting different locks and made a knowledge that this is what counting is. And second part of her speech, we closely see who is the best part in the counting. She mentioned about some person who did more work in the area of taxonomy on the counting. The most important part, which I felt in the speech, was the question: what happens when the animals go extinct? When you don't count major part of the species that are in the world. She was clearly able to explain that biodiversity chain, like how one animal was able to, if one animal dies, let us say the bees die all of a sudden, what happens slowly, how the world will go extinct. That is the biodiversity chain. So the whole part of the speech was about the biodiversity chain. Now, making to think about the title, Count Me In. I was wondering, like, whenever we say Count Me In, we go somewhere outside and someone is going to movie, we say that Count Me In. So I was thinking in that angle, like count me in. But if you see in this perspective, I could take two things out of the title. One is, if you're going to save the biodiversity, count me in. At the same time, let us count those pieces which are not unaccounted, which are not counted till now. So two aspects of it I could relate from the topic. So which means that he has aptly chosen the topic or title for this for our speech. And the third thing which I always look for any speech is the smile, and it is very difficult for a natural speaker to smile or bring that smile when you have the content in your mind. But she was able to bring that smile. So that smile was able to relate to us, like we were able to smile. But at the same time, what she could have done in the area of improvement, if you ask me, adding that smile with eye contact. She was smiling, but the eyes were not into the web camera. As she was smiling, which gives me that someone is smiling, which makes me listen to her more. Had she brought that eye contact towards the web camera, like there is a difference. If you smile towards the web camera, as an on-screen person, it appears to me that you smile directly to me. And smiling and turning eyes away from the camera distracts somewhat. So you can bring that eye contact as area of improvement and add that, keep the smile part as it is and bring that eye contact towards the web camera, or when you go to the physical meeting, look into the everyone eye as much as possible. Then coming to this whole speech is all about the how we use the presentation software. I think here we can do a lot of effort, a lot of work. To give an example, you gave a picture of a person who did the better in the taxonomy. Maybe the audience over here who are totally new to biology or not aware of those things, we may not have much interest the person or the image of the person. But what we will be eager to know is what we did better. What is his area of specialization? Let us say he has got the naming for different species, so we can add those plants or animals or all those pictures into that, or a simple biology diagram or something like that. And when you told about the pie chart of showing the percentage, you can show, for example, the iceberg, which is a very relatable example. Anyone sees the iceberg, what we see above is very little, what we see below is very much larger. So you could think of putting images or slides which will easily convey the message to the audience. So overall, fantastic content, good smile in your speech, and relatable title. If you can work upon the little bit slide presentation and the eye contact, your speech will move to the next level. All the very best to your next project. Thank you. Back to you, Kavita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dave. Once again, Toastmaster Eugene, can you please summarize the time our evaluators took for the evaluation?
Sure, Toastmaster Kavita. So for the evaluation, Mr. Prakash took 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Arathi took 3 minutes and 24 seconds. They took 3 minutes and 38 seconds. So
Thank you, Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Thank you. And it's over to you, Toastmaster. Should I give my evaluation right now? Right.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You can give. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So my evaluation as a general evaluator. So the meeting started on time, and we had the sergeant at arms made put the setting, kept the setting, set the setting for the meeting, and set the tone for the meeting. I would say, Prabin, you could be more energetic so that you bring in more energy at the start of the meeting. Next, Toastmaster of the day took over and introduced us to the topic of the day, why he selected the history, the background with behind that topic. That was good, nicely explained. Next, the general evaluator, that's me. I introduced all introduced the tag team members. One point I just want to know, what came to my mind is that we have to introduce all the speakers, evaluators, role players need to be introduced. This meeting we missed introducing some of the members. So that is one improvement point for everybody here. Coming to the speeches, speeches were very well prepared, very well executed, delivered, and Aarti's speech, we could understand the type of speakers. So I was keeping that in mind throughout, trying to identify different speakers during the table topic masters and try to identify what kind of speakers we are. So that was nice speech and a lot of informative speech over there, Aarti. Thank you for that. The next icebreaker speech was, as Arathi said, very fluid, not an icebreaker great speech. It was a more pro level speech. So good work, Vineetha. The third speech, Aabhinaya's speech, it was very informative, something very out of the box, because we always hear stories, something personal. She put out something that was not personal, yet she could convey the message. Just one point over there, Abhinaya, since it is something very different from what we are seeing, you could have given either introduction to what you will be speaking, or maybe summarize what you have discussed, so that we could relate all the bits and pieces you have said and have a concrete picture while we are leaving the meeting. Toastmaster Prabin made a good job of introducing us to the topic of love. There was love in the air. Everybody was smiling, and the topics were very interesting. So good job, Prabin. I enjoyed the topics. Coming to the speakers, Vishnu, Abhinaya, Dev, Anoop, Vineetha, everybody had a direct, I identify them as direct speakers, direct from the heart, straight talking. There were some persuasive speakers. Vineetha, I don't want that topic. Let me get something. And Prabin was okay. No issues. But Prabin, maybe you could be more assertive to strengthen your assertive side. No, you have to talk about that. Why don't you give it a try? Just a suggestion. I'm not trying to create a war here. Coming to the grammarian, I have some feedback for you. Let's stick only to the grammar aspect, the speech aspect. Let's leave it to the evaluator. Overall, a very good meeting. There was a lot of love. There was a lot of smiles. There were a lot of new things. And one more feedback for the grammarian. You had a very nice thought. Maybe you could have told us whose thought it was. I don't dream about success. I always work towards it. Let's work on these things. Overall, nice meeting. And I hope everybody enjoyed so far. And back to you, Toastmaster Dev.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kavita. That was a Winsome session, wasn't it? I think I remember the word of the day, right? So I want to leave it with a message. So my main point of bringing this love Toastmasters, to add that love, the lost love, one suggestion will be to be having more time with that person, or to have more time with the club. Be it short-term relationship or a long-term relationship, spend more time. To put in a short contest, if you take a club session is going to be 1 hour, our club is having a 4-day session per month, which is 4 hours per month. So totally over a year, if you see, it is just 48 hours that you're going to spend for Toastmaster, which is hardly 2 days. So if you can put in at least 1 day out of it, which means 24 hours of it, of your 1 day, 1 year to Toastmaster, be it not in our club, to any club for that matter, it will bring that lost love towards the Toastmaster, and you'll start enjoying the club and the Toastmaster. With that, I will conclude to our President, Toastmaster Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster. What a beautiful session it was. Toastmaster Dev started with a really interesting and engaging session. I have actually, sent the voting link. Please take a moment to vote for the best speaker, evaluator, best role player. So it was a really wonderful session, and there were 3 really beautiful speeches, I would say. Doug gave a really poetic speech. The word Grammarian used was really apt, and of course, Arathi and Aabhinaya have given informative and insightful speeches. Thanks for that. And of course, the table topics was really interesting. I think everyone wanted to, take a chance and speak, but we did not at the time. Overall, it's a good meeting and a Saturday morning well spent, I would say. As Toastmaster Dev said, with all the ups and downs in a relationship, Toastmaster is going to be just like that. So, love Toastmasters. We have another meeting on this Tuesday. a special open house session on Valentine's Day. Please do join and volunteer for roles. It's from 12 o'clock to 1:30, your lunchtime. So it is going to be an open house, and there will be a lot of people from around Technopark, all the companies, most of the companies. So with that, let me, officially conclude meeting. The meeting is officially closed. Thank you. You can stay back.
The voting, please.
Oh yeah, I always forget that. I think the best table topics is shared between two people, Dev and Vineetha. Best role player is, of course, Dev. Best speaker is Vineetha. Best evaluator, Arathi. Thank you.